Hello, twin flames. This is Victoria, and I'm here with your daily energy check. Today, I will actually look a couple of days ahead of us into the new moon in Virgo that's coming up on August 27th at 4:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I promised, I will do this reading now because I want you to be prepared to know, and we're already in that energy anyway. And secondly, because you're all in different countries, different time zones, I want to make sure that you get this info, this message before the peak of the new moon. So a few words before we jump into the reading, and of course we'll look into what is the ultimate positive effect for the Twin Flame Collective watching this video from this new moon in Virgo. We'll take a look at what could be a challenge, so you keep it in mind, and we'll get some guidance from the universe for what to do, what are the next steps, and I'll pull an oracle card as well. I have my Whispers of the Ocean here, so it's gonna be sweet. But before we jump into that, I just wanted to say a few words about this new moon in Virgo. I already did that yesterday as far as I remember, but just a quick summary. So yes, new moon in Virgo is, you can guess, it's about creating new plans. It's setting intentions and goals. Because it's Virgo, it's gonna be very practical, very down to earth, very specific, and most likely about the 3D aspect of your life. So this is not so much about kind of energetic realms. This is about things that maybe you haven't been paying attention to, or maybe you felt overwhelmed or confused, or just like you didn't have time to pay attention to your diet or how much you sleep, or even like doing your research on a nice mattress for yourself, right? Something as simple as that. And by the way, I have articles on a lot of these topics on my website, and I have podcasts around those things, and I'll probably start with publishing those first. I want to publish them on YouTube so that they're accessible for you guys, and I will have some info there. But long story short, it's about those details that we may have overlooked for one or another reason that are coming into our focus now, and we are pushed towards dealing with them and being honest with ourselves and or with other people about what's really going on, right? And that's your Mars in Gemini, because it's going square for this to this new moon in Virgo, and that's that kind of poking energy where there's a challenge, right? You're being challenged. Are you sure you are aligned here and there, right? Are you sure you're being honest with yourself or with your family about how you're dealing with XYZ, right? So it's very important to be clear, even if that means that you need time after you are honest with yourself and you admit what is really going on. Even if you need some time to integrate that and to kind of get a grip and create that plan before you act, that's perfectly fine. In a matter of fact, it's actually what this new moon is all about. It's not so much about like immediately taking action. It's more about creating a plan and preparing yourself for the upcoming season, for how you're going to change. Remember, I spoke about the book that's called How to Change the World from Management 3.0 from Jürgen Apollo. So yeah, this is how you change your world, right? What do you need to change your world? Think about that. So that's kind of in a nutshell what is going on. Virgo in its extreme, and this time is going to be not just about, like, the challenge can be about anything really. You can be challenged about any of your insecurities and fears. It's more likely it's going to be more about your lifestyle and something specific and physical, but it can be anything really, whatever fears and insecurities you have. Also because our body is directly connected to our mind and our soul, right? So for some of the things, it's like a clear connection between what's going on with your health, for example, and what is going on with your mindset or your energetic field. So yeah, it's like this new moon will really show you, like it will really challenge you and help you get organized, or be more focused on having a joyful and fulfilling lifestyle for yourself, right? For some of you, it can mean actually doing less. I had that message a few times this week already. And I had like 3 times more plans than I was able to do. But I understand, and I'm staying in alignment with the message that I need to take care of myself right now. That's the key priority. That's what that energy is telling us, right? Without going into extremes, because Virgo, as any sign, right, it can be, there is a positive side and there is a negative side when the energy gets more into the toxic side of things, right? And the toxic side of Virgo energy is when a person becomes overcritical of themselves and of others, if they become pedantic, if they are a perfectionist and they cannot complete something, or cannot publish it, you know, just go in public with some project because it's not good enough. It's like this constant state of it's not good enough, still not good enough, right? Where a lot of time it's important to get the message out there, to share your knowledge, your wisdom, your ideas, rather than spend many hours making it perfect, right? So just keep that in mind, because that's another area where you can be challenged. Okay, let's pull an oracle card. And this is for both twins today. I'm not doing DMDF. This is going to be for whoever is watching from the Twin Flame Collective. And actually, we're so much connected during this time. Well, not just during this time. Twins are so connected to each other that when something big like this kind of lunation event happens, it's actually impacting both of the twins in a very similar way, because we have one soul, right? We have one higher power. So ultimately, when it's touching that core energy, ultimately it's impacting both of us. It can manifest in different ways in the 4D and 3D experience, just because we are different people with different life stories. But for the most part, it's still going to be a lot of mirroring, a lot of syncs. So I don't see much point in looking at it separately. I'd rather just look at those fundamental questions and get us some answers. So got 3 cards here. Okay, facing your fears. Like I was saying, being honest about it with yourself, first of all. Look for ways to strengthen your connection to the universe and others. Stay peaceful and calm in the knowing of who you are. So this is strengthening connection with others. And don't be surprised if you feel like in order to strengthen your connection with others, you need to balance out your own state of mind and your own energy. And the first steps are actually going to be solo for this one. There is nothing wrong with it. In fact, again, that's kind of the point. So yeah. The gift of neutrality, number 34. Balance is at work in your life. Yin and yang are opposites in energy, but reside side by side to create the gift of neutrality. Yeah, so that's that balancing that we've been talking about, right? So Virgo energy is super useful and super helpful, but in organizing ourselves. But don't go into extremes with being overly organized, or overly organized doesn't sound good, but you know what I mean, right? Into becoming pedantic and overly critical of yourself and of others. Strive for improvement, not for perfection. That's going to be your balance. And of course, the balance is also between the masculine and the feminine energy, you know, the usual. If you're divine feminine, then make sure that, you know, if you have a certain dynamic with your masculine at this time, it's important to kind of, especially if you are, if the challenge between the two of you is in communication, and for a lot of us it will be actually, right? And I don't want to go into details, but you can draw that conclusion for yourself and connect the dots of why it's manifesting like that in the twin flame journey. So when you are having that communication, that dynamic with the DM and the other way around, it's important to keep the communication transparent and honest, right? And transparent and honest doesn't mean manipulative, doesn't mean judgy, doesn't mean jealous or any of those things, right? Transparent, and yeah, if you feel jealous, you can say that, but be open and honest about it without blaming the other person or, like pushing stuff away, maybe pushing something under the rug. That's not the time to do that. And that's where that balance is going to be important. And finally, we have number 23, distinctive potential. Rely on your faith and the knowledge that nothing is impossible. Use your determination to hang in there until you realize a goal. Yeah, that's Virgo energy for you. Hang in there until you make it, right? It's very determined, very diligent energy. And Virgo is actually, like, naturally, Virgos are very good at completing routine tasks or repetitive tasks, something that other people may just like get bored or too anxious to do very quickly. Virgo actually kind of like pushes through and gets stuff done. Little by little, no matter how tedious it is or how challenging it is, they go slowly but surely. And that's the theme of this new moon. Okay, let's look at tarot. Let's start with the question of what is the positive effect of this new moon on the twin flame journey? What is the purpose, the meaning of it? How is it helping us? Ace of Swords. Yeah, that honesty with yourself, first of all, and with others, right? And building healthy boundaries. To me, for some reason, that umbrella that she's holding is like her protective shield from, BS of other people. I'll pull the clarifiers too. Sorry, I didn't ask the question. The second question is, what could be a challenge during this time for twin flame journey? What kind of a challenge is the new moon bringing? Four of Pentacles. Yep, another card was the balance. It's actually interesting because usually we don't have any kind of notion of balance in Four of Pentacles. It's a very interesting one, and I already had this card in another reading. And finally, we'll see what is the guidance, what are the steps to be taken during this time to benefit from this energies, these events. Yeah, we have another Mercury retrograde coming up on the 7th of September, by the way. If you are missing that energy, it's coming up. And we're already in that pre-shadow mode of that energy. Okay, so we have Two of Swords here. What is the next step? Two of Swords. But look at that, there is a new moon here. Love it. Okay, let's pull some clarifiers. This clarifier is... Let me shuffle a little. Let's clarify Ace of Swords. Six of Cups. Please clarify Four of Pentacles. Okay, please clarify Two of Swords. Thank you. All right, so what do we have here? For what is the positive effect? What is helping? I already spoke about being honest, and I'll just add with this card as with Six of Cups as a clarification here that this energy, this new moon is helping, apart from being honest with yourself and having boundaries with other people, it's also learning to recognize the good and the kindness in people. And that's huge, actually. It's quite a unique skill, I would say. Some people strive to do it and some claim that they can do it, but very few people naturally are able to do it. And that's the skill that you're getting with this. Being kind and seeing the kind nature of people naturally. Like, even if on the surface or from your communication with them, the immediate like image that you see somebody obnoxious or angry or aggressive, you will still be able to see that kindness in them. Wow. Then for the challenge, we have Four of Pentacles clarified by Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, so the challenge could be to still keep making progress, to not hold back, to not go too slow, right? To balance things out, to kind of observe them, to take small steps, but still keep making progress on a regular basis. Because for a lot of us, we don't necessarily notice those small steps. And I would say, once again, I sound like a broken record, but journaling will really help you here. And especially if you keep asking yourself those questions, like what kind of step did I take today? Or, you know, what do I plan to do tomorrow to make that progress, to keep going? And in this case, because we are talking mostly about progress with your lifestyle, this is progress with your life. And this is also Earth energy, by the way. Yeah, so this is something practical. It can be about finances too, right? Like starting to track a budget, right? Or setting a budget for yourself, tracking your expenses, those kind of things, right? Not overdoing it, but also doing enough for it to have the effect, right? And enough also means on the regular basis. And that's another Virgo quality, right? Doing things regularly, being consistent. It's very important to be consistent. Can you pull it off though? Or are you just gonna track your, I don't know, maybe you're writing down or recording the calories from what you eat. Are you just gonna do it for a week and then quit? This is just so you're aware that this could be a challenge and you are prepared. You know, there are all kinds of, and you can Google it. Maybe you already have some techniques of how to stay on track, how to keep going and not procrastinate and not give up before you reach your goal. For the advice, we have Two of Swords clarified by the High Priestess and the Emperor. Wow, very interesting energies. And I would say that because Two of Swords is usually choosing between the head and the heart, this is the ultimate choice, the head and the heart, right? So to me, this is the advice that both of those aspects are equally important at this time. So don't go just full on into your meditation state and forget about the logical, the practical. Also, do not just fall into the practicality itself and forget that you're on a spiritual path, that you're a spiritual leader, that you have immense amount of energy that you're supposed to utilize to help people wake up and live their best life on this planet, right? As a twin flame, you're supposed to embrace both. That's the important part. You don't have to choose. And it's a bit of a challenge, but I would say it's kind of like homework, figuring out for every decision that you make. And again, journaling is great here because you can list out what kind of decisions you've made today, right? Don't go too far, and see how it aligns with both aspects, from practicality on 3D, 4D, and from the energetic realm, from the 5D, from ethers, right? With your connection to the divine, your connection to maybe telepathic connection with your twin flame, right? Connection to your ancestors, reincarnations, generational karma and Akashic records, your astrological birth chart, you know, all of those aspects. Like, how do they correlate? Are you able to cover both? Okay, those are wonderful things to think about, to practice during this time, and I hope this is going to be a wonderful season for you. This is going to be a wonderful time with this new moon in Virgo. I love you guys, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye, everyone.